Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2021 general readings. We are looking at the first 2 weeks of December from the 1st to the 15th, and this reading is for the earth sign of Taurus, our beloved bulls. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're all safe, doing well. I hope those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. We're headed into Christmas and New Year's coming up. So that's kind of exciting. Thanks for taking the time to be here, to watch this video, to follow my YouTube channel. Thanks to my community for all your support, donations, comments, feedback, reaching out for personal readings. All greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So this reading is for the earth sign of Taurus for the first 2 weeks of December 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Taurus. It's relevant if you're cross-watching for a Taurian. It is a general reading, so of course it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. Watch all of your signs for any additional insight and perspective. And if you find that something does resonate with you, you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else. Personal readings do make great gifts, and we do have the holiday season coming up, especially for those of you who can't think of what to get people. If you're interested, you can send me an email. Email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. You can also see that contact info by clicking on the arrow below, that little description link. I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and also particularly popular this time of the year are the 6 and 12-month overviews I do, which give us a look ahead at the next 6 or 12 months, which a lot of people order this time of the year as we're transitioning out of an old year and into the new one to see what the new year holds. I mean, you can order them any time of the year, but they're particularly popular, of course, at the end of the year, so something else to consider as well. Email me if you're interested. I'd be delighted to hear from you and delighted to work with you. All right, Taurus, let's see what the first 2 weeks of December look like for you. I am using the Tarot of Dreams, clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. Okay, we begin with a little healing, the Six of Swords, slowly but surely moving away from a time of conflict or trouble. Transitional energy. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you are moving towards that. You're in a healing process. With the Lovers, a very perhaps passionate, intense, kinetic relationship. And it represents a relationship crossroads typically, where a decision has to be made that's going to significantly affect the life of the relationship and everyone involved. Now, the decision can be about the relationship itself, because sometimes this is about making a choice in third-party situations, or it can be a significant decision in another area of life that's going to affect this relationship. Next to that, we have you, the Queen of Coins, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, showing up as a queen, but could just as easily be a king. In a general reading, I don't really pay too much close attention to the genders. Could also be another earth sign that's relevant in the situation, or somebody who manifests like an earth sign. With the Queen of Coins, we have the Seven of Swords, my sneaky thief card. Although it can be positive or challenging. The Seven of Cards is a card that represents secrecy or doing something undercover or under concealment, which can be positive or negative. I mean, we all work off the grid sometimes, right? If you're in a job you don't like and you're looking for another job or a better job, you don't often tell your current job that you're looking for a new job, because that could be a sticky situation, right? The Seven of Swords represents somebody who, it can represent deception, theft, exploitation, but it primarily, fundamentally represents somebody who has something they want to accomplish, acquire, maintain, and they keep their thoughts, ideas, actions, and motives to themselves about it, because they figure that's the best way to achieve the thing, whatever the thing is. So they operate in secrecy, and this is your energy. Next to that, and it's interesting because that Seven of Swords is next to the Lovers. So for some of you, this might be a third-party situation in which you need to make a decision, or a decision needs to be made as to whether this thing moves forward or not. And if so, what's the best path of healing here? It might be healing from a previous infidelity. Definitely feels like a relationship focus here. Next, we have the Fool, the very first major arcana card, a whole new journey, stepping off the beaten path into the unknown, doing something you've never done before, or maybe doing something that's a bit risky, sometimes a bit foolish. With the Fool, we have the Queen of Swords, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Showing up as a queen, could be a king, though, or a male. I think for some of you, this is a third-party situation. For others of you, I mean, the Fool and the Queen of Swords are in, if it's not like a third-party relationship situation, then it's struggling within yourself between doing something that might be risky or foolhardy or not a great idea, and being logical and practical and smart, because the Fool and the Queen of Swords their energy is kind of fundamentally opposed or fundamentally different from each other. I mean, the Fool just throws caution to the wind and kind of jumps on a plane or goes and does the thing just impulsively spontaneous for the experience of it, right? Doesn't really plan ahead or think about consequences or risks or anything. Now, the Queen of Swords does not do that. Quite the opposite. She may have done that in her past, and she's learned some very painful, valuable lessons. So, she's very, been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, can smell BS coming a mile away. This is very diametrically opposed energy. So for some of you that this isn't about like a third-party relationship issue or anything like that, this is still about struggling within yourself, about wanting to do something, feeling compelled to do something that might be a bit foolhardy and might maybe have potential negative consequences to a relationship if you did it or not. So it feels like maybe being pulled in maybe two different directions. Maybe you're smart, your brain, you're intelligent, or your integrity side is going, that's probably not the best thing to do, but there's something about it that keeps pulling you, and that's kind of where you're sitting, but you're keeping it all to yourself, right? For some of you in a third-party situation, this may be making a decision as to whether to jump into an affair or continue an affair, or perhaps what to do about a recent one. From the others of you, this could be, again, considering something in another area of life that may or may not be a foolish, risky thing to do, but it could potentially have a pretty significant effect on a relationship, particularly if that primary relationship has already gone through some challenges in the past. Interesting. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy and focus for the first half of December is the Magician, the entrepreneur, the manifester. He knows how to manifest things that he has in his head and in his heart into actual physical reality. Now, he knows it's not enough just to sit in the living room and kind of, meditate and visualize it. That's only part of it. And then it's all about taking your tools, your skills, your wisdom, your experience, all the lessons that you've learned, pairing that with the actual hard practical work to make something come into reality. He knows how to get that done. That's why I always look at him as kind of the entrepreneur of the tarot. It's a very independent energy. In fact, he doesn't often work well with others because he's pretty independent. He's been doing things his own way for a long time, and that's the way he likes to do it, right? So it's all about manifesting something or not. Manifesting some. I actually think it feels like you're trying to make a decision to jump into something or continue with something maybe that's recently started. But there's a relationship here which may be at risk, and it could be jumping into the relationship itself is at risk. It might be you're in a relationship and there's, third-party situations is either you or the other person, or maybe a combination of both. Or not a third-party situation, but there's something that you're contemplating doing, perhaps doing undercover, but there may be a fair amount of risk involved with it, and it's like head against passion or head against desire, because the Lovers points to a relationship here. Let's clarify. Let's clarify that Magician as the general focus for the first 2 weeks of December for Taurus. The Hanging Man and the Eight of Cups. Not quite sure if this is something you want to do, to manifest, to put the effort into it or not. Because the Hanging Man is a card of not taking action, not pursuing, not being the aggressor, not taking action. You're waiting. You're watching. You're watching something playing out. You're gaining more information, but for the time being, you're not taking action. It can represent a transitional, short-term self-denial or self-sacrifice while you're waiting to see. And then the Eight of Cups is leaving, walking away from something ultimately unfulfilling or dissatisfying. Again, it's the same energy. Not quite sure if this is something you want to jump into, or you've already jumped into it and you're not quite sure if you should stay or leave. You're just kind of letting things play out for the time being. Clarify the Six of Swords. Judgment. Being at a major crossroads. The decision you make will probably have a pretty profound effect on your life or the lives of anybody involved. If you go one way or the other way, the consequences will be life-changing and you won't be able to come back from it. You can't reverse this, right? Well, we can't usually reverse much of anything once we've done it. Judgment implies, judgment is where, in a courtroom drama, judgment would be that period point where the defendant gets up on the stand to speak in their own defense, because it could really be a game changer, right? So judgment, it's usually portrayed as one of the archangels blowing the major horn. It's a call to action. It's a call to answer for yourself. What does judgment really mean? It means to be called to answer for your actions, right? The choices that you make, and they could potentially change the game. The Six of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is winning at all costs. And that, I feel, kind of a connection to the Fool. It's like, I want what I want. I'm just going to go for it. I don't care what happens. But it may come at the cost of other people or relationships with other people, other people's emotions. The Six of Pentacles is gift giving and gift receiving, but it often represents an unequal giving and receiving. So it's like, it feels like you're trying to make up your mind, Taurus here, as to whether or not to do something which might be a bit on the shady side, whatever that is, or maybe something that might possibly hurt somebody else, and yourself. You're trying to make up your mind whether to do that, because there's this sense here, and I feel like you know that too with judgment. It's like, what am I going to do? You're at this really important crossroads moment. I really want to just throw caution to the wind and do this thing. But what am I actually really going to get out of it? The Six of Pentacles implies that the Six of Pentacles is often the breadcrumb card. It's somebody who has a lot to give, but they only give you a little bit now and then, right? It's like risking a whole lot or risking everything, but in reality, you're for not too much. So, for example, in a third-party situation, this is throwing caution to the wind and entering, this infidelity affair thing, and taking a whole lot of risks with it, but only so that you can get little bits of time with this person when they can give it to you, so it doesn't really weigh out in the end. Clarify the Lovers. Also another crossroads, like crossroads and choices all over this. What do I do? What do I do? I feel there's a very strong pull to do the thing, but there also is some cautionary energy here that thing might not be a good thing. The Two of Pentacles, crossroads, decisions. The Seven of Swords. We've got the Seven of Swords twice. Sneaky or undercover concealed behavior. The Lovers twice. And a King of Swords, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. So we have a couple here, the King and Queen of Swords. And then you, the Queen of Coins. It's really difficult not to see this for at least a pretty big group of you guys as, like a third-party situation. Now, Third party situations don't always mean like third party situations in terms of a romantic affair. I mean, it can represent it's just I'm just getting such a strong relationship energy here for that. The third party could be another person, place, or situation that's influencing you to do something undercover that may have a negative impact on your primary relationship or the other person's primary relationship, whether it's romantic in nature or not. Clarify the Seven of Swords, my sneaky concealment card. Clarify the Seven of Swords. The Three of Wands, the Eight of Wands. This is like secretly hoping that this is going to work out good for you in the future, that you're going to get everything that you want out of this. Passion, desire, communication, travel. Again, because I started with the example of the third party situation, it's like entering into an affair with somebody who's married, or maybe you're both married, or you're married and they're not, something like that. But thinking that this other person is going to leave their person for you, or vice versa. That's like the secret kind of, because secretly, which is the Seven of Swords, keeping something undercover, this is like doing the footwork and waiting for the ship to come in to bring in your big rewards, fast, action, Cupid's arrows, like that somehow it's all going to work out. I mean, it can, but not often, especially in third party situations. I don't often see them working out. Every once in a while they do, but more often than not, people can waste a lot of time or even years of their lives in these kinds of things. So, you know, whatever this third party situation is. Clarify the Fool. You know what partially popped out while I was shuffling is the Tower, with that Fool throwing caution to the wind. Yeah, strong. I mean, I feel like the pull towards whatever this person, place, or situation is really strong, but I'm also feeling an equally strong danger, caution, road under construction kind of energy too. Caution, detour. The Knight of Wands, which just goes rushing right in there. The Seven of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. Contemplation, reflection, trying to make a decision. Is this a stupid thing to do? Is this ultimately too risky for me to do? Clarify the Queen of Swords. I mean, for some of you, this is a third-party situation, no doubt about it. There's a married man here. For some of you, there's a King and Queen of Swords, which can represent somebody that you're involved with or thinking about being involved with who's married. Strength, having the strength to face your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, your shadow self, meaning the parts of ourselves we don't want to look at, or our actions or motivations sometimes. The Seven of Cups, very idealistic, dreamy card, building castles in the sky, fantasizing. It's a beautiful, lovely fantasy bubble energy, not all that realistic. Perhaps not paying attention to the actual reality and practicality and real life consequences that could happen in this situation. Having the strength to face that. The Ten of Swords, betrayal, feeling stabbed in the back, thrown under the bus. And this is clarifying the other woman. Or again, for some of you, it can be this very strong internal conflict about wanting to do this thing that maybe you know is not such a great thing to do, but it's so strong, the pull. But there's an equally strong thing about don't do this. This could really cause a lot of, you know, pain and trouble for people. Again, whether this is like a romantic infidelity third-party situation or not. Third-party situations simply mean another person, place, or situation which is influencing you in some way, which here could potentially have quite negative consequences, especially to yours or the other person's primary relationship. Okay, I'm going to stop there and just end with some advice and guidance for Taurus for the first 2 weeks of December. Such it looks like a complicated situation. Taurus. The Emperor. The Emperor makes a decision best suited for the greater good. He has an entire empire, meaning all of the kingdoms comprise his empire. All of the kings and queens answer to him. He rules that. It's a great, big, huge job. So this is all about being responsible, accountable, being a person of integrity, doing the right thing, doing things by the book, making the decision for the greater good, what is best and right, even if it goes against like your own personal feelings and desires. Justice in the upright, the reap what you sow card. You have judgment and justice both. I mean, the Emperor in justice is doing the right thing. Temperance, neither too much of one nor too much of the other. Staying in the middle, staying grounded, staying balanced, knowing where your truth stands. Oh, the Fool in the reverse. We have the Fool here in the upright, and here in the other deck for advice, we have the Fool in reverse. Don't take the risk. That's so super clear, Taurus. I mean, free will, free agency. Some of you will not take the risk, and some of you are just going to take it anyway. I get that, right? We live, we learn. I mean, ideally, right? But the advice here from Spirit, whether you choose to take it or not, is doing the right thing, doing the honorable path of integrity, higher road sort of thing, and don't take the risk. Don't do the risky thing. Enough said. I'm going to leave it there. If I keep going any further, it's going to start to sound preachy. I think Spirit's made it pretty clear. Okay. Interesting reading. Okay, Taurus, that is your reading for the first half of December. I don't know if I hope you enjoyed this one or not. I mean, it's an interesting, I hope you enjoyed it. In fact, in the sense that I hope it brought some clarity, validation, resolution, or at least some resonance for you. Again, if any of this resonates with you enough that you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, contact me, email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be happy to hear from you. Delighted to hear from you and to work with you. You can also see that contact details by clicking the description link below. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the December mid-month readings. Until then, stay safe and well. Hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.